Thank you so much, Alavite. It's been a pleasure seeing you moderate my talk. And thank you so much, Kumar, for inviting me to speak. I mean, I consider MEI as part of the, my extended family institution. With these words, let me just put some, thoughts on Chabahar. Chabahar and International North-South Transport Corridor has been somewhat very closely monitored, a subject as far as I am concerned. Almost 10 to 15 years back, when people were very dismissive about the International North-South Transport Corridor. I still continued to work on the subject because I felt that connectivity projects are not short-term, projects. They are long-term projects. This is what kept me, engaged to the subject. What I'm going to do actually is I have 20 minutes, so I'm going to raise certain issues and some, related arguments and the new narratives when we're talking about Chabahar. When we talk about Chabahar, we are talking about the connectivity projects, we are talking about the geopolitics, we're talking about actually the regional dynamics. We can't understand Chabahar without knowing the bilateral, regional and global connect as far as these projects are concerned. For me, actually, when you look at various connectivity projects, these are being sold today, like new, I call them new integration game or developmental diplomacy. So what I'm going to do is speak little on this and then look at how important is it for India as to why, Chabahar is such an important project when we are talking about India-Iran relations, India-Iran, Afghanistan and Central Asia, which are connected. What is the present status of the project and what are the challenges in implementing this project, and what exactly is the future? So if we look at, today, the whole connectivity issue, I see them, the global, the regional actors have gone into this drive of connectivity. Connectivity is a new mantra, and which I think is getting reflected in somehow two, terms that I would say. They are normally looked at as a developmental diplomacy or a new integration game, as I call it. If you look at the Asian, sort of periphery, where you see major initiatives taken by China, Russia, United States, and a smaller effort by India. You see China, looking at the BRI, which is Silk Road Economic Belt and the Maritime Silk Road. When we look at Russia, it is talking about Eurasian Economic Union. And United States, of course, New Silk Road vision. And looking at India, which has been trying pretty hard to, see to it that, it gets some kind of a connectivity to Eurasia and beyond. There are these initiatives on the International North-South Transport Corridor and the alternative routes, and Chabahar becomes one of them. So what I feel is that when we talk about these connectivity projects, they are not free from geopolitics. So to say they are purely economic affairs is how they are being sold. Despite the fact that when you get into, and especially when we talk about the Asian region per se, Chabahar and, Chabahar, actually, when we look at Chabahar, we also need to contextualize this in the larger context of how India-Iran relations have developed over the years. And the recent controversy, in July about India losing the Chabahar port project, and this is something which, and related, issues which I will come back to when I talk about the geopolitical matrix as it is developing in the region. let us look at where are we when we are looking at the Chabahar project, which has been very close. It's extremely important from India's point of view, since we are looking at connecting, with Central Asia for Afghanistan. So it's a very important initiative taken by which materialized in terms of a new sort of phase that we could call, came in with 2016 when the trilateral agreement was signed. And later, the port was inaugurated in December 27, then operationalization happened in 28. India actually sent its wheat in 2017. And in 2019, February, Afghanistan started exporting goods to India using this port. So the port itself is very important when we are looking at the regional dynamics, when we are looking at Afghanistan, when we are looking at India's connect with Central Asia through Iran. So there's no doubt that it's an extremely important project. But where are we today? Last year, the budget allocated for Chabahar was less, but in 2020, if you look at it, it was around $14 million, which was sort of assigned in our national budget bill for 2020. When we look at the controversy which came up in July on India losing the Chabahar port project, and that Zahedan Chabahar Zahedan railway track, but I mean, to say the things on ground, yes, there are problems and challenges when we are talking about India-Iran relations. There's nothing smooth progress to say so, but there have been effort. And in 19th India-Iran Joint Commission meeting in Tehran, also these issues were taken up. Recently, the Indian Ports Global Limited, the entity which was formed to develop and run the India-funded Chabahar port, has floated a fresh tender to buy those 4 new rail-mounted cranes, RMQs, which are called. Earlier, this was with the Chinese company, and that has been now that has been cancelled, and the new tender has been floated. And it is expected that within 1 or 1.5 year, order will be finalized, and successful bidders will have to deliver the cranes within 16 months from the date of opening of LC. Now, these are some of the developments that I thought would say. If you need more details, I can always answer in the answer during the question answer. But today, what I see, the challenges are too many when we are talking about implementation of the Chabahar port project. Despite all the advances that India has made, despite continued commitment, despite the recent visits of the ministers and the stopover diplomacy that we've done, India's continued commitment has been there towards the Chabahar port. It also has an exemption from the US sanctions. But the progress actually, in terms of the realization of the full potential of the port and the related commitments by the New Delhi has been extremely slow. And now, what are the factors that have led? So to comment here, I would say the US maximum pressure policy, the sanctions, and particularly after 2018, the things have been really difficult. Technical and bureaucratic issues, not only on Iranian side, but also on the Indian side, I would say have hampered it. Apprehensions on the part of the private sector to invest in Iran has been the other factor. And finally, the COVID-19 and its implications and the lack of financial resources. When we are talking about some 1.6 billion commitment that we're talking about, we really don't know. I'm extremely optimistic person, but today when we look at the situation and how we have actually moved on these things, to say that nothing is happening, I'm told by the Freight Forwarders Association that the bulk handling is happening and it is going up. That is one. The extension has also been given of 1 more year as far as the bulk handling is concerned. So there is trade happening, there are things moving, but the full the potential of the Chabahar, which is there, it needs more investment. And how are you going to bring that investment? That is an extremely important question and the challenge. If we look at the regional geopolitical matrix and the recent few developments, I would say four important developments have brought India-Iran ties under spotlight. As I mentioned earlier also, the first actually development was on July 7th when Iran began, started the track laying operations for the Chabahar-Zaidan railway track. Now, this is something from the Iranian perspective. It was, since the Indians were delaying the process, they said this was important for them, and therefore they have started it. This was the explanation which came, but it was the media reports suggested that India seems to have lost it, and various explanations were given from both the sides that India continues to be very much part of it. In mid-July, actually, that's the report which generated the whole issue. Now, the other important development, is the Iran's, changing foreign policy doctrine. If we look at Iran's, narratives today, they talk about Iran's pivot to the east. And here, when they're talking about the Iran's pivot to the east, which is, Ambassador Mousavian has written on it extensively, and he talks about this as a new doctrine, and which is namely focused towards developing the comprehensive partnership plan with China and Russia. With China, 25 years agreement, and with Russia, they have extending 20 years agreement with Russia. This is mainly to manage, their deteriorating relations with the United States. And the fourth, development has been the establishment of the diplomatic ties between Israel, UAE, and Israel, Bahrain. Besides this, actually, if you look at the July 27, 2020 foreign ministers of China, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Nepal, held a virtual meeting. Although the agenda there was more to having together to fight COVID-19 pandemic and resume economy. But what needs little, attention here is that the Chinese foreign minister used this meeting calling 4 countries to continue cooperation on the project under BRI, including CPEC, while offering extension of CPEC to Afghanistan. And I think this is something which from India's perspective, actually, it needs a lot of attention. This was happening while we, India, China had some issues, of clashes on Ladakh border, India-China border problems. But here, if we are looking at then what is the future of Chabahar? I mean, if we have to look at, from my point of view, I think the challenges are too many, even in future. Some of those points I have already highlighted. But if we look at, this also needs to be looked at in how India-Iran relations are going to be developed. Despite the fact that India is committed to it, Iran is also, but the Iranians have shown a lot of concerns towards India while, they talk to us personally, or even the official statements coming out. At one level, they are saying, okay, it's fine. But if you read their reports and many other, articles, they do show concern about India's tilt towards United States and not giving enough attention to Iran. But, there are some factors, if we look at it, they are actually going to drive the future course of India-Iran relations. First and the foremost, I think, is how US-Iran ties will be shaped after November elections. How effective Iran will be to mitigate the impact of harsher US sanctions with the help of Russia, China, and its other Asian partners. And how New Delhi will be able to take its bilateral commitments and advance its economic partnership with Iran despite sanctions. If you look at the real economic relationship with Iran, oil imports have come down to zero, and even the trade figures are nothing. I mean, if we need to look at. More importantly, in the recent past, the statements coming from the Iranian leadership on India's internal matters are not very welcoming. So this is something which needs to be addressed, and I think people have started noticing it. Surprisingly, one doesn't notice a single statement coming from the Iranian leadership, and here I'm talking about the supreme leader himself. All these speeches that you see, Kashmir becomes a major sort of a issue when in all those speeches, but there is no reference to the Uyghur issue in China. Now, this is something which people have started noticing in India as such. So any statement on India's internal matter will not augur well for, taking the bilateral cooperation, to a higher level. And therefore, unless, certain things are sorted out, your overall relationship with any country depends on many factors. Of course, there are issues, for example, when we talk of the political will, the personality factor, what are the common areas where you agree on certain issues. As far as Iran is concerned, I think three major, underlying sort of pillars are energy, connectivity, and regional security. On regional security, I would say, there are common concerns when we talk about Afghanistan. But, on energy, as far as we are concerned, we have actually cut our oil imports from Iran. Our stakes are higher in the Gulf. The GCC countries are major trading partners. If you see India's, growing ties with UAE, with Saudi Arabia, and with other GCC partners, Iran doesn't figure in there as compared to our stakes in the GCC countries and the Gulf, and our increasing cooperation, which has gone much beyond today defense cooperation with Israel. Similarly, our stakes are higher when we are looking at, cooperation with the United States. Although, this is not to deny the fact that Iran is not important for India. But I would like to say that India will continue to stay engaged with Iran, and more importantly, try and maintain the engagement with Iran, because regionally, if Russia, China, and Iran clubbed with Pakistan come together, regionally it is not in India's interest, number one. How are you regionally going to manage those issues would be a big question. So staying engaged with Iran is going to be a policy, and even on Chabahar, I guess, the expectations are very high. The biggest challenge for India would be to manage the expectations from various actors as far as, India's relations are concerned. I think, ultimately India will look at its economic growth. It will look at its, people who are living in the Gulf countries. Those things are going to drive your foreign policy engagements with the individual country groupings and whatever we may like to call it. But Iran will continue to remain an important country with which India would very much like to sustain its engagement. You cannot ignore a country like Iran when we are looking at the region where we're talking about Eurasia, whether we're talking about Southern Asia, whether we're talking about even the Middle East. I mean, despite the US pressure, you do see today, I'm told by the Freight Forwarders Association that Chabahar is being used by the African countries. Even though there is a lot of pressure, but the African countries are using Chabahar and the European countries are helping them. This is something which is coming from the Chabahar, the gentleman who's from the Freight Forwarders Association and wanting. So what maybe, India will have to find certain mechanism through which the smaller, companies would be allowed to deal, those who don't have stakes in, United States, that is the kind of probably engagement would come up. But a lot would depend on how Iran also, responds to India's concern and sensitivity. So I think I will stop here. 3 minutes. I guess I've taken more, Kumar. I'll be very happy to take question answers. So I stop, as I promised that I'm not going to take more time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.